Hi, everyone. I thought the easiest way to talk through some of your Zoom settings would be to just do this little screencast so that I can show you exactly where to change all of your settings. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that we can talk through some of these things. So first of all, the first thing I want to talk through is all of our Zoom settings. So let me move on here. All right, these are the things that we're going to cover is muting your participants. That is super important because, as you know, when we are in meetings all together, for instance, if someone is outside and the wind is blowing and they are not muted, you cannot hear the person that's talking. All you're hearing is the wind of somebody else. So even if the child in your class is quiet themselves, but there's like background noise going on, everyone can hear that. And so it's really important that we have all of the students muted when you are delivering your instruction. We'll talk about annotations, and that is something that we all saw when we started out our morning meetings, and we finally figured all of that out, but I want to share with you how to turn off annotations. There might be some instances where you want annotations on, and that would only be for if you are working one-on-one with a student and you want them to be able to mark on their screen. But I think for the most part, you do not want annotations on. We'll talk about screen sharing. We want to make sure that the students cannot share their screen during your instruction time. And so again, if you were working one-on-one, you might want to be able to see their screen, but we just don't want kids accidentally sharing their screen with people. And then we'll talk about chat. And how to make sure that the kids aren't chatting while they're supposed to be paying attention to you. So there are two ways to control meetings. The first is settings in your Zoom portal, and we'll talk about that. That's where you want to make sure that chat is actually on, where your screen share is set to host only, and where your annotation is off. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to stop sharing and share another way. So what I mean by your Zoom portal is this screen right here. So your Zoom portal looks like this. And you want to go underneath your profile. You have your meetings. That's where you have your meetings set up. You want to go down here to settings on the left-hand side. And in settings, you see that we have meeting settings, recording settings, telephone. We're in our meeting settings. Now, these are overall settings that will control every meeting that you have. So this is not just for one meeting. This is for every meeting that you have that you are the host of. So if we scroll down to, let me see, this very first one, in meeting controls chat, you want to make sure that chat is actually on. I talked through this with Kelly, and she said, let's go ahead and leave chat on, because it's important for them to be able to chat with you, but we will discuss how to only do it with, only students can chat with you and not amongst each other. So chat is on, and that automatically turns on private chat. That's fine, leave that there. So make sure both of those are on. The next one you want to focus on is screen sharing. You can turn that on, and you want it to be on host only. Who can share? Only the host. And that automatically turns these two off. So who can share? turn on host only. That means students cannot share their screen with you. And the last one in here we want to focus on is annotation. You want to turn annotation off. So that is in your Zoom portal, again, under settings, and that is for every meeting. You don't have to like click apply or anything like that, just turn them off and on, and that's what we want to do, okay? So now let's go back to what we can, let's see. All right, so let's now talk about the settings when you're inside of your meeting. So you've fixed your settings in your Zoom portal. Now you're ready to host your meeting. There are a few key things that you want to do while you are in that meeting before you get started on your instruction. And the first one is going to be to change your chat to host only. So in your meeting at the bottom, there's like a black bar at the bottom, and you will change that to, or you'll click on the chat and you will check mark host only. And you can see that right here, the picture of it. So when you're in the chat, make sure it's host only. That means that the participants can only chat with you, and you can see it and no one else. So that means the children cannot chat amongst themselves, which is very important, especially in the older grades. They know how to do that already. The next thing is you want to mute all of your participants. So once kind of like, once everybody's in and it's time for them to be quiet, you can go down to the bottom, and in that black bar, again, there's the little picture of the heads and shoulders, and it says manage participants. You will click on that, and then you're gonna want to choose to mute all of them. And that's really important, again, just because we want the kids to be able to hear you, and if there's other distractions, it's going to be hard for them to pay attention. So mute all. And then the last thing you want to do is allow participants to unmute themselves. So you will see that you're still in manage participants. You're still right where it says mute all. If you tap on those three dots, that ellipsis, that will take you to where you can click allow participants to unmute themselves. And then you will also want to lock your meeting. So once you feel like all of your participants are there, you can lock your meeting. Now, we can also talk about this waiting room business. I don't think in this instance, the waiting room is really going to be helpful to you. I think that you should just leave the waiting room off. I think that it will be harder for you to manage, because every time a person comes, you have to like accept them into the room, and it's hard. So I would just leave the waiting room off. So in this one, you're going to want to check mark on allow participants to unmute themselves, and check mark lock meeting once you feel like everyone is in. So that is my short tutorial of what are the key settings that you want to do. Just remember, there's two places that you will want to go. First of all, go to your portal, your Zoom portal, and then second, once you're in the meeting, change some of those settings. Now, Kelly also said that she has found when she changes the settings in her meeting, like her morning meeting, she uses the same link every time. And so the second time she used it after she changed the settings, she didn't have to change them again. So you might just have to do this the first time that you come in. Of course, you have to mute everybody. But as far as like allowing people to unmute themselves and things like that, that might stay or stick after you do it the first time when you reuse that link for your other meetings. So anyways, feel free to contact me if you have questions. I hope this was helpful to you. And thanks for watching.